If there's one thing we've learned about business and life, it's that people are the X factor. They constantly surprise us, both in amazing ways and not so much. We're Ben and Syya, and welcome to the Gnaw on This Business Bites podcast. This show is all about real life things we all deal with every day, how they relate to business, and how to make some sense out of our daily chaos. Welcome to the show. And welcome back to another episode of Gnaw on This Business Bites. I'm Ben and this is Syya. This is the end of year episode. Amazingly enough, this is the end of year episode. How did we get to the end of the year? I mean, I still think it's like February. You know, where did months and months and months go? I mean, if you look back at it and think of it, we've done 51 episodes this year alone. Never mind what we did the previous year. We've done 51 episodes with you guys, and we love you all. We love you all that you come back every single week, that you put your snide comments and your great insights into the comments. You put both, and we love them both because you know what? The great thing is, even if we don't see them as the actual episode's going, C and I go back and we listen to them and we look at them and we laugh about them and we try to respond to as many of them as humanly possible because we love the fact that you guys are passionate about this show. You know, we love coming to you this. It was a great concept when we first created it. We said, you know what? What's the show going to be about? We want to pick one concept a week, something that we can truly chew on for 10 or 15 minutes, something that we can actually add some insights on. Let people in the audience have their say about this and be able to have something that people can move on with at the beginning of their day. So thank you guys so much from the bottom of our hearts for being part of this. And what we want to do is take the time to think about lessons learned. At the end of the year, it's about, okay, where have we been? Because if we don't take the time and reflect back and say, what have we learned over the last year? What are the insights that we have? What are the things that made us go, shouldn't do that one again? We are going to repeat them. So let's take the time and think about it. And I want to see the comments because we've all got some great things we've done this year. We've all had some real snafus. So, hey, listen, Mike, I'm looking at you when I'm saying this. So, Syya, you start us off on this. Let's gnaw on this.
Well, happy another year, my friend.
Happy another year.
Like, this is like crazy. I mean, this was supposed to be, but last year, a few months, like at the end of summertime, I think you and I just chatted it up one day, and then we're like, well, what if we just decide to do this one thing together, this little project, and let's do it for the quarter, and let's see how it goes. And if I recall correctly, I think throughout this year, we both had moments where like, do you want to keep doing this? You want to keep doing this? Do you want to keep doing this? And every single time it was like,
yeah,
let's do this. Let's do this. Sometimes it wasn't enthusiastic. Yes. Come on, peoples. Let's be honest here. It's hard to do this week in, week out. It's hard to find the time and make it a priority. Mm-hmm. Right. And so one of the big lessons learned for me is you do what you want to do in life because you want to do it. And that was one of the big lessons for me is, you know, I separated and parted ways with my business partner and launched my new business this year. So for me, it was like, really, I'd never been on my own before, right? Prior to going into business with my partner, I was in corporate America. So I was like super, you know, for lack of a better description, and 'tis the season, I was like the virgin entrepreneur, you know, and I definitely don't feel that way now.
Well, we popped your cherry, so this is a good thing.
Definitely not now. Yeah, no, I think there's so many great fond memories I have, and I love the show because a lot of the shows we did was, if you think about it, and if you look back in time, it is we were living it. Remember, like, do you remember times we had topics? I'm like, oh no, I got to do this right now, or you got to do this right now because we're going through that situation. So yeah, I'm kind of laughing because I think it's almost like this show's a diary of our year.
Well, that's exactly it. Because during the year, you tagged me on some LinkedIn post or something that you were looking at going, we have to gnaw on this. Or I've done the same thing because, Syya, we got to talk about this week. And we have actually sat there and, you know, put red lines through different topics to sit there and say,
Yes.
no, this topic has got to be spoken about. It's got to be spoken about now. And that was a lot of fun, is that a lot of this stuff comes together at the last minute to basically sit there and say, wait a second, this is timely. This is important. This is a subject that we need to actually chew on
Yeah.
because it's what's going on today. And I
Yeah.
think that the relevancy about this, and I think we're going to be able to come up with topics forever because the world is constantly changing. There's always stuff that's going on. There's always stuff that makes you go, what? And those are the things that we love to talk about. I mean, my big thing is I got back to you is making time for this. This is one of our big rock moments. I
Yeah.
mean, Stephen Covey, this is a big rock. You put the big rocks in the bucket first before you put the pebbles, before you put the sand. Because if we don't sit there and put the big rocks in first, you're never going to get them in the pot. So we need to sit there and go, okay, is this a priority? Is this something that both we enjoy doing? We both get insights out of it. We both learn something out of it. But we also get the insights from the comments that are being put in week after week after week. Because some of a sudden I read the comments, I go, I never thought of it that way. That's kind of cool. I never, somebody came up with a completely different perspective on things that we did. And every once in a while, reading those things makes my day because somebody actually is not only listening to this, but they're taking the time to say, hey, wait a second, what about this? And I love that about the audience. Some of the biggest insights from my year have been the fact that the world is continually changing and it's
Mm.
going to continue to change. There's no such thing as status quo. The status quo is that the world is continually changing. Sometimes it changes dramatically. Talk about Chat GPT and Open AI and what happened over a period of 7 days. And sometimes those changes sneak up on us. And we need to sit there and realize that, wait a second here, the world is continually changing. The world is constantly evolving. People are continually thinking differently. Okay, we may not change how we view the world, but we need to be open to able to realize that other people are thinking differently and say, okay, how does that affect me? And how does that affect the people that I work with? So to me, that was probably one of the biggest takeaways this year.
Oof. You just think about reminded me of, like, so this year was a big year of collaboration for me. Well, by the way, I don't know if you had one, but I had a word of the year. So when I launched my own business, I was like, you know what? It just kind of rolled out and became actually a girlfriend. We were having a little New Year's, celebration, and she just turned and looked at all of us, and she's like, "Look, guys, what's your word of the year?" And I'm not that kind of personality. I don't have vision boards or anything like that. But it was fascinating because I didn't have a quote word of the year, but everything seemed to keep coming back to this one word. So I decided to adapt it and adopt it. And it's the word light. Like for
Mm-hmm.
me, like launching my own business, you're in that moment of darkness. You don't know if you could do it yourself. And then seeing that light at the end of the tunnel. And honestly, it was, parting ways with people, friends and all that. It sucks from a business perspective, right? But once you kind of understand you're going in separate directions because you had different, goals, there's a light of weight, right? Lifted
Mm-hmm.
off, right? And so I really leaned into the word light this year. And as we come to a close and I look back, man alive, there's a lot of times that my light was dimmed, but then it was the support and of others, the collaboration, the community of all these different people that I know on LinkedIn, particularly. So shout out. I know you called Mike out, so we'll say the hounds, the hounds of business community. There was a lot of authenticity this year from people where many of us had very dark days, my friend. Oh my gosh, a lot of us in the community. And I was touched that there was a disclosure of a lot of some really personal stuff, but we were all there for each other. And that's the beauty of, I think, things like this, right? Like there is always opportunity for someone that's going to always be there to help you. So another thing I discovered, mental health. Like I've never been one to really think about it. I've always been quote self-sufficient. You and I've talked about this, about that resiliency. I don't know if maybe it's because we're Gen Xers and we're used to being locked out of our own houses and trying to figure life out, right?
You smash a window and you climb in. It's really simple.
Yeah. Well, or the mom and dad tell us how to pick a lock. Hey, those are life skills.
You know what? Whatever works.
But yeah, I think there's still mental health is something that for me I struggled as far as like I won't say like I don't have downs, I don't have swings. I'm pretty much stable in the middle, if you will. But for me to have empathy to understand that there are others who don't have, unfortunately, the comfortable life I lead, I feel bad. I feel like a pretty damn normal life, right? So, but there's so much that is not being done to help those that really struggle and need it. And that's why I've also discovered for this year is, shout out Walking Tall movement. I forgot to put the sticker on. Let me just, while we're talking, because I am now a Walking Tall uh, ambassador.
Oh, very cool.
And this is just all it is, you guys. Walking Tall movement is just a right now a loose coalition of us community members in the world who just want to say to each other, there's vulnerability and strength, and there's strength in vulnerability, and we can walk tall together. That's it. You can walk tall on your
Nice.
own or lean on the community to help you. So, yay.
Cool.
2023.
I love what you said about word of the year. I mean, mine is adaptability.
Mm.
My year, every year, January 1 or December 31st, I pick a new word. This year it was adaptability. And I think it served me well to sit there and say, okay, that didn't work. That's okay. What did I learn from it? How do I take 3 steps back and punt? And I've had to do that a couple times this year. And it's okay because I've come out better every single time. And you think that you're going down the right path. You think that you have a plan and that everything is going to work out properly. But sometimes those plans don't work out. And sometimes you haven't thought of everything along the way. And if you're just relying on the plan and you don't have the adaptability and you don't have your mind on the goal, you run into some serious trouble. And I think we're going to talk about that in the new year. But, it's about having that adaptability. And I think everybody here, write it down, whether you put it in the comments or whether you put it on a board or you write it in a piece of paper and put it in your wallet. Have a word, have something that grounds you, have something that sits there and says, okay, this is what I'm focusing on this year. This is the one thing that I'm going to do to focus on this year to try to level myself up and to level up the people around me. And, sometimes you're going to live up to it. Sometimes you're not going to live up to it. Sometimes it's going to smack you right in the face, but it's okay. You're going to learn from it anyway. And you're going to be better off because of it. So I really am a proponent of a word of the year. Not sure what mine's going to be yet for 2024, but we will get there.
I love that we talked about the adaptability, and that was I had a life lesson, business lesson, quite frankly, uh, of adaptability is in that moment of like uncertainty and doubt when something doesn't go your way. Because I think you and I both had some business setbacks where we were just like, oh, well, this doesn't feel good. Just when you think everything's rolling in, and I'd like to think that our businesses are just going gangbusters, but no. Anyone that says that to you, lies, all lies. I had a real
But we
big
all
sad
have good
setback.
times. We
Yes,
all have good
yes.
times in our business. But you know what? The really successful people also get smacked in the face because they're pushing it. If you're not pushing it, if you're not constantly looking for that brass ring and you're not constantly stretching a little bit too far, you get in that position of comfortable, and comfortable can be a scary place.
Yes. Yes. Oh, well, I think we did a previous episode, right, on, complacency and contentment.
Yes, we
Like,
did.
what is that definition? Anyone that missed it, go back, go back. It's just a few episodes back. But I mean, I think going back to that our conversation of contentment and complacency, I do think you should afford yourself a moment of contentment to really like for the year end especially is to look back and say, man, I did a damn good job. You know what? Was it perfect? No, but there's a beauty in imperfection, as I always like to say. It but I would like to think it's another chip in the foundation, not chip, another layer of foundation. Man alive, my words are awesome today. another clink in the armor. I mean, come on. Okay. Just another level foundation that we're setting for another successful year. And, maybe next time it's just another layer that you will inevitably fall, but at least there's a little bit more cushion for you, I think, in that whole moment in time.
Well, I think that those are wise words to end with. Before we stop, I want to let everybody know we're going to take the week off next week. It's the 26th. You all should be out there shopping anyway, or at least recovering, from turkey overload. So let's take the next week off next week. We're going to come back hot and heavy on January 2nd, ready to go and gnaw on this for another year. I am going to wish everybody here peace, prosperity, health, and happiness. May this be an amazing year to come, and may you all find the happiness that you're looking for and achieve the goals that you want.
I can't agree more, my friend. I mean, I really want peace on earth. I hope we as humanity can love each other, love your friends, love your family, love your neighbors, love your families as much as you can. I get it. But, love your neighbors, love your friends, love your network that you have on LinkedIn virtually and anyone else in your social media platform. So I do want to say thank you for anyone and everyone that's ever seen any of these shows to support us. Thank you. We appreciate it.
So I'm Ben.
And I'm Syya.
We're going to see you in the new year.
Woo-hoo. Hey. Thanks for listening to another episode of Gnaw on This, Business Bites. If you liked what you heard, we most humbly ask that you like, share, and hit that subscribe button. And if you want to communicate more effectively within your organization, contact Ben at yourbrandmarketing.com or me at brilliantbeammedia.com. We can help you build your community, brand awareness, and personality through digital content and podcasting. We cannot wait to hear from you. So see you next week for another episode of Gnaw on This, Business Bites.